Dolphins fans, you're watching Dolphins Today. I am your host, Will Scott. And before we get into our Dolphins mailbag, I wanted to hit on something that was going viral on Dolphins Twitter this week. At an event in Miami, Tom Brady was asked if he'd come out of retirement and play for the Dolphins. Here was the full quote here at this Miami event. Now that I'm not affiliated with any team anymore, I have strong ties with a couple teams. I do have some friends on the Dolphins that I really like. I wouldn't necessarily say I root for them all the time, but I root for my friends to do well. And some people were freaking out about this quote because Tom Brady just didn't say, no, he's not coming out of retirement. He didn't say, no, I'm not going to play for the Dolphins. But this is a non-story. Tom Brady was just trying to give kind of a classy answer, and I think either way, if he was interested, if he wasn't interested, he wouldn't say, right? He just said, well, I have friends on the Dolphins. I hope my friends on the Dolphins do well. That's all he said. This is a non-story. Tom Brady's not coming to the Dolphins. And even if you believe that Tua Tagovailoa is not the guy, and that's certainly not me, if you watch the show, TD Fins Talk, I know some Dolphins YouTubers like him, maybe or not as high on Tua as I am. I believe in Tua. But even if you believe that Tua is not the guy, Tom Brady is not an option. He is retired, and he has said that this time he's retiring for good. He's not coming out of retirement. The only way that Tom Brady plays for the Dolphins is if Tua gets hurt next season and Brady is there chilling on his, in his Miami house or whatever, then maybe the Dolphins give him a call. But the chances of that happening are just astronomically low. Now let's get into our Dolphins mailbag. Use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get your questions in on the show. Super Chat like Mo to get on the show. We appreciate Mo Super Chatting. Are you as infuriated as me that we have yet to sign a decent lineman and what Greer said about Austin Jackson? Well, Mo, I encourage you to watch my show from Wednesday to find out the answer to that question. Yes, I'm very frustrated as well. Look, if Chris Greer believes Austin Jackson's the guy, so be it. But at the very least, bring in some competition. It's April 20th, and he is committing to Austin Jackson as the starting right tackle right now. There are still guys out there in free agency. The draft hasn't happened yet. Why are you just handing the job to Austin Jackson right now? I really don't understand that at all. Jay Case, what's up, man? Another $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Dolphins, hashtag Dolphins. What's the likelihood of us trading up for our boy Darnell Washington? Jay Case, I knew I liked you, man. You're on the Darnell Washington hype train. Pretty slim because the Dolphins only have 4 picks, but Chris Greer was asked yesterday at his press conference if they would trade up. He said some teams have called him about maybe trading back if the Dolphins were interested in trading up. He didn't rule it out. We'll see. But if the Dolphins have to move up, let's say 5 or 6 spots, give up a third-round pick next year, I don't know, to get a Darnell, man, that'd be very intriguing. I know the lack of draft capital makes that a little bit tricky. But if Darnell Washington, if you have a shot to get him, I would do it. Hanky Fins, what's up? Could the Dolphins be a Trey Lance trade destination? No. I saw them in some articles a dark horse for Trey Lance. Whenever somebody on the 49ers becomes available via trade, they're going to be linked to the Dolphins because of Mike McDaniel, right? But Trey Lance is not coming to the Dolphins. Now, if he was to be the backup, sure, but there's going to be teams interested in Trey Lance trading for him to be the starter. So he's not coming to Miami. The Dolphins have a starting quarterback. But I will ask this. Do you want to trade for Trey Lance? Type T for trade or type P for pass down in the comments section. Let me know down in the comments. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when ad break comes, go down, let me know. Do you want to trade for 49ers quarterback Trey Lance, who apparently could be on the move? Sherry May saying hashtag Mauch to Miami, as in Cody Mauch, the North Dakota State offensive lineman. And I was asked on our last mailbag, if Cody Mauch and Avila and Dawand Jones are there, who are you taking? I'm taking Cody Mauch. I really like Cody Mauch. He's versatile. He can play guard. He can play tackle. I think he's more of a guard at the NFL level. but I'm a big fan of his, and I would love him in Miami. Tommy Martin, what top 30 visit would you most like the Fins to draft? Darnell, Washington. I think he took an official top 30. Check out our visits list if you haven't already. Some were top 30s, some were private workouts. But, man, Darnell, Washington, if I had to say someone else on that list that really interests me, Sam Laporta, and then DeMarvion Overshown, the linebacker from Texas. Anthony Manzano, thanks for the question. The more realistic of the tight ends in the first round that might fall out of the first is Michael Mayer, Washington, Musgrave, and Kincaid. Let's see. Michael Mayer's definitely going to go first round. I think Kincaid's going to go first round. The other two, probably early seconds, I would say. Darnell might be a late first, but in terms of who has the better chance to follow the Dolphins, I actually think it's Luke Musgrave. I don't think Darnell's falling. Steve James, what's the latest on a Christian Wilkins extension? I'm hearing that it might not happen. The guy's an absolute stud and deserves his money. $17 million a season is fair in my opinion. Yeah, it'll be between like $15 to $18 million per year probably. Greer was asked about that yesterday. He said he's talked to his agent. They've had those conversations, but that's just the same thing we've heard now for weeks. So, look, we might wake up tomorrow and an extension's going to be done. I'm not sure, but I hope it's sooner rather than later because I'm with you, Steve. You got to pay the man. You cannot let this guy walk in free agency next year. We always have you covered with Dolphins news and rumors, so be sure to subscribe for year-round Dolphins coverage. We bring you coverage in the offseason and during the season as well, obviously. Matthew Frost, next question. We appreciate it. If we could get Dalvin Cook, that would be so huge. What if we traded up for Dawand Jones and Darnell Washington? Our team would be set for the next 7 years. I don't know about next 7 years, but our team would be set for this year. Because you have a right tackle, you have a tight end, you have a running back. Those are probably the three biggest team needs right now. I mean, we can't trade up for both. We can probably trade up for one. And I would trade up for Darnell. I really would. Darnell's a freak, man. He'd be awesome. Carter Reimer, trade up in front of the Bills to take Bijan Robinson. I think I was asked about this earlier. Bijan's not falling to the Bills. That's just not going to happen. I think he's going number 10 overall to Philly, but I would not trade up into the first round to get a running back. I just wouldn't do it. Carter Jones, should we draft a running back if a Cook trade doesn't happen in the next week? That's kind of why the Dolphins should be kind of rushing to get something done with Cook. Now, obviously, if they don't want to trade for him, they have to wait for him to be cut, and that's not on their timeline. But if Cook is not an option, then yeah, I think the Dolphins should draft a running back. But hopefully a Cook deal can get done in the next week. Then you can shift your focus to some other needs on this team in the draft. Who is your favorite running back draft prospect? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. Is it Sean Tucker? Is it Devin Achane? Who's your favorite running back draft prospect? Johan, what's up, man? We appreciate you. Should we draft a center instead of a guard so we bring Connor Williams back to his natural position? It's certainly a possibility. John Michael Smits is a prospect to watch out for. I think they met with him at his pro day. They didn't bring him in for a meeting, though, but I think they met with him at his pro day. John Michael Smits, if they draft him, he'll be the starting center. Williams goes back to guard. Anthony Manzano. If Michael Mayer falls out of the first round, which is the more likely prospect at tight end? Possibly fall out of the first round. What would you give up? Michael Mayer's not falling out of the first round. I can just about promise you that. He might fall like 25. He's not falling out of the first round. If you're asking if he does fall out of the first round, would I trade up for him? No. I think I'd rather trade up for Darnell, quite frankly. Wendell Witt, offensive tackle Jack Witt in the 7th round. Linebacker Jack Campbell in the 2nd round, tight end Sam Laporta in the 3rd round, and in the 6th round, an edge or running back. I'd be happy if all that happened. Laporta's probably not going to fall to pick 84, though. I would be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if he's off the board by 51, so him falling to 84 is probably unrealistic. But Campbell would be a solid pickup. I don't know if I take a linebacker, though, with your first pick. Tommy Martin, we keep talking about right tackle. How do you feel about the backups we have for left tackle? Not great. Not great, Tommy. I'd love to bring back Brandon Shell, have him be the backup swing tackle. He's still out there and available in free agency. I'd love to bring him back because right now I don't feel good about the backups. You have no depth on the offensive line. No depth. Todd Melanson. The most hilarious thing I saw today was a rumor that Saquon Barkley could come to Miami. Dreams, forget about it, is some Giants fans would say in that New York accent. Yeah, Saquon's not coming to Miami. Dalvin, maybe so. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Got the draft coming up in less than a week. We are going live for the NFL draft, so be sure to join us for our live draft coverage.